Yo, what's up, guys? Lorenzo here. Okay, okay. Obviously, I changed the background. It's kind of white, so white, blue. Let's give it a try. All right, so far it looks good. All right. So, anyways, let's see. Let's talk about what do we talk about? Oh, let's talk about the issue with uh, the famous issue now going on with Chris Nolan's film, The Odyssey. Okay, I'm gonna give you my view, my perspective, my opinion about to justify why maybe Chris Nolan did what he did. Um, Obviously, making the film, The Odyssey, more for a broader audience, more for a worldwide audience. All right, so here's the thing: a lot of people are complaining that it's not accurate, the costumes um, are not off during that time. The casting is off. The interracial cast is off. I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, I myself, expect or want some a realistic, gritty, a little bit dirty depiction of the Odyssey. And that's one of the greatest stories in Greek mythology. So let's gather the facts. No, not the facts, but why Chris Nolan had to do it this way. What I think about it. Okay, so first of all, we have to look at film. All right, we have to realize that film is indeed a business. Okay, and as I know, when you're a businessman, you have to produce or make something that everybody would appeal to. Okay, meaning your product has to reach uh, everywhere, to everyone, whatever gender, whatever race, everyone, as in everyone, not just a limited not just to limited people, but to everyone, the whole world, to be clear. So, as you can see, we live in a very different time period. Okay, the world is progressing, people are changing, behavior is changing, the mindset is changing. Uh, in short, people are evolving. Okay, and the people now are very different to how it was before. Well, which is because more technology is being introduced, the culture is changing, a lot of new artists are coming in, which are influencing a lot of teenagers now. Everything's changing, it's evolving. Okay, and as a businessman, you have to adapt to that change. Okay, you have to give the audience what they want. What is the algorithm? What do they like? What do they like seeing? It's like TikTok. You have to make something what the people like. And it's very hard to kind of stick to the past. Because you might be left behind and get buried in the dust, and you don't want that as a businessman. So in terms of Christopher Nolan, which I think he saw that coming, and working for Universal, he had to make a choice, and which is to make something that a modern and contemporary audience would appreciate. This sort of material, okay, and he had to do it in a way that everybody will dig it. You have to let the Gen Zs dig it, or the Gen X, or the whatever. You have to let everyone dig it. So you have to learn that the world is interracial, especially America. You have the Muslim community, you have the African community, every race. You have to find a way to connect. The Chinese, the Koreans, the Mexicans, the Filipinos, etc. You have to find a way to connect to everybody so that they will watch your movie. You have to market it in a way. So what Chris Nolan did is you have to make your cast interracial. But since how do you say, film is creativity, okay, and I think he had the right to be creative, meaning to be diverse. He has the right to do it. I think that's the director's right, unless it's a true story. You can't make Michael Jackson white, or born white. You can't let Brad Pitt play Michael Jackson. That would be off. But since the source material is fictional, and you're in the movie making business, not documentary, movie making business, you have the right to have your own interpretation. You can make, for all I know, you could make Achilles a Latin American, because it's just a film, okay? It's just a movie. And anyone has the freedom to make their own interpretation. Like Hollywood, they made Snow White Latina, all that stuff. I think that is valid. That's a valid reason, because you have to produce something that all these people can relate and watch. And I think that's what Nolan had to do. So he had to make the cast interracial. He had to tweak it a little bit to make younger audiences dig it, because your market is everyone. So like there's a portion there that Odysseus was fighting these giants, right? And they kind of look silly with their silly armor and stuff, But if you in the book, they're like brutes and savages. You're not wearing armor and stuff, and they're smashing all these people, and they're bloodthirsty, they're cannibals. But you're making a film for Universal, and it has to appeal to everyone, so you gotta tweak it a little bit so that everybody will appreciate it, but at the same time, still be loyal to the story and the magic of filmmaking. So that's what he did. He had to do it, in my opinion, I think. Because if I were also a director and, I had to make something, you have to also think, of like, how do you make something for everyone to relate, especially this generation. So he had to adapt to that thinking. So that's why he made Odyssey how it is. And look, it's entertaining. That's most important. I think the goal of this business is entertainment and, good storytelling, good action, good directing. That's the most important. The interracial cast, it doesn't matter. For as long as the movie is well made, quality is up, and it's entertaining. And it tells the story right. And it's valid. It's a valid reason. So I don't see anything, in short, I don't see anything wrong in what Chris Nolan did. So I think he did a pretty good job business-wise. Okay, he was able to capture the generation now, at the same time still maintain the quality of a great film. I think that's what he did, and he had to do it that way. So that is my take on why Chris Nolan actually did it the way he did it. And yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. If someone wants to do a darker version, maybe Netflix, it's better for Netflix. But if you're talking about some major studios, it had to be how it is. Maybe 10 years from now, audiences will change. Never know. Times are changing. So we had to make something for today. So that's good. That filmmaking is a money-making business. So you gotta just accept the fact and follow the rules. So that's how it is. If you want to stay in the game, But if you're a little rebellious, you can go to the independent side. But if you want to be in the game, where where those gurus are, Hollywood. You have to abide by the rules, respect, and just try and make the best film as possible with whatever rules they give you. That's it. I think that's a valid reason. Entertainment. All right, and that's it, guys. We live in a changing and evolving world, society, and that's it for Lorenzo Veloso's Film 101. All right, guys. Have a good afternoon. Exercise, eat healthy, pray to the Almighty, and that's it. Ciao, guys. Stay cool.